Hello and welcome to almost the start of Let's Play Joint Operations Typhoon Rising. So, since I've been able to keep a solid schedule up lately, I've decided to add the sixth slot and put in this as the first entry just because I kind of missed some of the old Delta Force games after playing them for like 2 years straight. So, Joint Operations Typhoon Rising is kind of Novalogic's answer to Battlefield 1942. It came out, I think, like 2 years later. Obviously, 1942 was a big success, which even that wasn't the first big um, MMO FPS. Um, but it was, I think, like the first big popular one that was in stores. Um, so I think Novalogic saw that and it's like, hey, let's take the idea and combine it with Delta Force, and so we got Joint Operations Typhoon Rising, which is actually a bundle of the original game and its expansion pack. So, or actually, what is it? I gotta go to Steam. Joint Ops Combined Arms. My bad. So the game is Joint Ops Combined Arms. The Joint Operations Typhoon Rising is the expansion pack, and Joint Operations is the original game. I believe the only changes the expansion pack made was more maps, I believe, that were set in other places, but I guess let's get into the manual. And this will give us basically the background information for the game as we play it. So we got our table of contents screen here. Introduction. Joint Operations Typhoon Rising places you in strife-torn Indonesia. Chaos fills the region. Play as a member of a joint operations force trying to restore order, or fight for independence as a member of the Indonesian rebel movement. You mean? The dense foliage and expansive terrain require special tactics for success. Control vehicles on land, over sea, and in the air. Transport teammates and vehicles between islands or across the varied terrain. Work together or you will not succeed. Conquer the enemy on foot by crossing lush jungles, wading through rice fields, or swimming across wide rivers. Take advantage of the sun's glare as it moves across the sky. Sneak through the jungle canopy at dusk to remain undetected until the final moment of attack. Wage unprecedented online war over the internet or on your own local area network. Practice will give you the skills to survive and bring victory to your team. 2 forces, non-stop combat. And then, yeah, you need an internet to actually play on the internet. Who knew, right? UN protects Indonesia. New United States resolution sends multilateral forces into Indonesia to restore order. By Jeremy Anvil, Newsmatch exclusive. May 3rd. Last week, 3 more bombs rocked Indonesia. One explosion shattered windows facing a schoolyard. Women and children stumbled around in the smoke. Others lay on the ground unmoving. A second blast crumpled one corner of the congressional building in Jakarta. Shocked civil servants staggered into the street, dazed and scared. Rescue teams still search the rubble for survivors. The president narrowly survived a third blast at his home. He quickly held a press conference to blame the recent attacks on disloyal elements of the military. These atrocities are proof of the increasing danger caused by factions of the Indonesian military joining forces with the rebels. Who else would attack these locations without fear of retaliation? Where is the United Nations? When will the international community finally help Indonesia? Today, the United Nations Secretary General announced the passage of a new UN resolution deploring the brutal attacks on innocent Indonesians by the rebel movement and decrying attempts by the military factions to seize control of the country. The resolution authorizes a multilateral international joint operation to help the government and remaining loyal military forces of Indonesia to regain control of the country and protect civilians. It follows in the footsteps of the successful 1999 UN joint operations into East Timor. This new operation, codenamed Typhoon Rising, consists of special forces experts from the United States of America, United Kingdom, Australia, Germany, Russia, France, and Indonesia. The joint operations team will work in coordination with loyal Indonesian military forces to maintain control of the country and prevent the breakup of Indonesia. The recent discovery of a military stronghold hidden in the jungles of Kalimantan province confirms that certain military commanders have stolen weapons and vehicles from the government forces and are now working with the rebel movement. New reports also indicate that the rebels control military bases throughout the country. Indonesia's terrain will be a challenge to the joint operations team. They expect to encounter well armed resistance in dense rainforests, thick jungles, tropical islands, coastal zones, and mountainous regions, all while fighting against locals who are familiar with the terrain, able to blend in and use it to their best advantage. The UN peacekeepers face a difficult challenge. The world will be watching joint operations Typhoon Rising. Join us and fight for your freedom. Remember your heritage. You are not Indonesian just because someone says you are. You were once a citizen of a free land. We were independent for centuries. Until we were invaded, wars were started and our leaders killed. Then the imperialists think they can give us to Java, and suddenly we belong to another country. We did not belong to the imperialists. They could not just give the rest of us to Java and create a country called Indonesia. But they did. And now this Indonesian government tells you what to do. They think they own us. And they're military. Some of their military attacks our innocent people. They destroy homes. They try to intimidate us. They extort money from businesses that they pretend to protect. They murder our people, and then they tell us to behave. They say we must listen to the military. And if you don't listen to the military, what do? They kill you. But that isn't enough. The government takes our natural resources. They steal our timber, our natural gas. And does the money come back to us? No. They keep the money for themselves. They become rich off of our land. They have no right to take what belongs to all of us. They take and take, but all they give us is violence. We can't trust the government. Remember when they said the province of Aceh would have autonomy? We all watched, hoping Aceh would lead the way for the rest of us. But did Aceh get a... Can't speak. But did Aceh get autonomy? No. They said we would get most of the money from the sale of our resources. Excuse me, but do we? No, never. We try to negotiate with them, but they refuse to even discuss our independence. They won't even include the United Nations in the negotiations. They think with anger, and they are scared. They are mad that East Timor became independent, and they are scared that Aceh will become independent. They fear more provinces will break away. They should be scared. We will be independent again. Come join us. The time is now. Suharto is gone. The Indonesian government is weak. We will train you in a safe place and bring you back home to fight for your freedom and the freedom of your family and your villages. The time is now. The Indonesian military is falling apart. Members of their military have joined us. Even they can see the wrong that is being inflicted on their own people. We have no choice. We must fight together. We are not terrorists. We are against terrorism. But we will fight for our land, for the freedom we deserve, for independence. Join us now, and together we will regain freedom. We will never quit. Joint Ops Special Ops Forces, United States Delta Force. U.S. Army's 1st Special Forces Operational Detachment Delta, SFOD-D, is tasked with counter-terrorist operations outside the United States. They often participate in ongoing exchange programs with several foreign counter-terrorist units. Delta Force soldiers operate in different locations throughout the world, including urban, jungle, desert, mountain, maritime, and Arctic environments. They are sometimes required to survive long excursions behind enemy lines. United States SEALs. SEAL teams are experts on sea, air, and land. They are trained to operate in small squads for clandestine missions executed with precision and swiftness. SEALs train in one of the toughest military programs in the world, allowing them to conduct missions against targets that larger forces cannot approach undetected. Most SEAL missions remain unreported and unknown to the general public. SEALs are a top team for conducting counterterrorism operations and excel at providing decisive and lethal solutions to foreign policy problems. United States Green Berets. Green Beret members are carefully selected special forces soldiers capable of extended operations in extremely remote and hostile territory. Their specialized training teaches unconventional warfare techniques and target interdiction. Members of the Green Berets call themselves the Quiet Professionals. Their official motto is De Oppresso Labor, or to liberate the oppressed. The Green Berets operate in over 130 countries and speak more than 15 different languages. British SAS. The British SAS, or Special Air Service, is one of the best known and most respected special forces teams in the world. The SAS often cross-trains with Delta Force and other counterterrorism units around the world. SAS combat units consist of between 60 and 70 men, although at least 1 or 2 SAS personnel have been present at every major recent counter-terrorist operation involving a friendly country. Diverse training includes advanced weapons, jungle experience, and urban takedowns. German KSK. Germany's Kommando Spezialkräfte KSK, was formed in the late 1990s to rapidly respond to incidents involving German citizens abroad and to protect national interests worldwide. The KSK often conducts counterterrorism missions similar to those performed by Delta Force and SAS units. French Geigen, or GIGM. The elite anti-terrorist force known as Geigen, Groupe de Sécurité et d'Intervention de la Gendarmerie Nationale, is one of the world's busiest and most successful counter-terrorist units. Although the entire force has never exceeded 100 members, Geigen commandos operate all over the world and train for diverse environments. They are widely regarded as having some of the best firearms training in the world and are cross-trained in a variety of specialties that include sniping and explosives. As a result, many of the world's special operations and counter-terrorist units conduct exchange programs with Geigen. Russian Spetsnaz. The primary role of the Spetsnaz, or special purpose units, are to carry out strategic missions behind enemy lines. They primarily perform these missions during the days leading up to a war and after war breaks out. Spetsnaz fighters are masters of hand-to-hand fighting and covert military operations. During hand-to-hand combat training, individual soldiers learn to destroy the enemy by any available means as quickly as possible, and regardless of superior weapons or the number of enemies. Their motto is known to be any mission, anytime, any place. Australian SASR. The Australian SASR, or Special Air Service Regiment, was modeled after the British SAS. The SASR perform long-range strategic reconnaissance, secret strike missions, and they have been active in fighting terrorism. Each SASR operator is highly trained in multiple specialties with cross-training in most other areas. They are expert trackers and skilled at defeating the enemy in his own environment. Indonesian Kopassus. Kopassus, the Indonesian Army's Special Forces unit, is also known as the Red Berets. The Commandos are considered one of the best special operations units in Asia. In addition to being regarded as a highly trained military force that excels in jungle and urban warfare, Kopassus wields significant political power and influence. Rebel Forces. Indonesian ex-military. Many soldiers have quit the Indonesian military and joined forces with the rebel separatists. These ex-military rebel fighters are known to be disillusioned with the government and the politically minded military leaders. They know the land better than any other military group in the world, and they're trained to disappear into the environment. Experts with military weapons and comfortable fighting through the jungles and cities of Indonesia, these ex-soldiers know they can never return to the Indonesian military, and so they fight aggressively to win at all costs. Indonesian separatists. The rebel separatists have fought for independence from the Indonesian government for many years. New members join the movement daily. Many fight for independence, while others rebel against injustices committed upon their families. The reason for joining may vary, but they all fight with the determination of people defending their own land. The rebel separatists now fight side by side the ex-military members of the movement. The influx of ex-soldiers from the Indonesian military has added dangerous weapons and vehicles to their cause. Character classes. You can choose to play as one of 5 character classes: Rifleman, Gunner, Engineer, Medic, and Sniper. Yada yada. Riflemen lead their teams to victory with a variety of assault rifles and anti-vehicle weapons. Gunner. Every successful team needs a gunner and his machine gun. Gunners aren't the fastest moving teammate, but they'll mow down the resistance and help your team defeat the enemy. Engineer. Engineers are experts at blowing things up. Their mortars deliver damage from a safe distance, and their ground-to-air stingers will take out an incoming helicopter full of enemy troops. Sniper. A professional sniper is trained to engage targets at great distances. Choose a location carefully, set your target, adjust for distance, and wait for the right shot. After you're fired, the enemy will hunt for you, so be sure to move. Rocks and buildings offer the safest long-distance sniping locations. Medic. Medics heal other soldiers on the battlefield and equip themselves slightly so they can move more quickly. Medics can heal a wounded soldier before he takes more damage or restore a fallen soldier to full health. This is just some explaining the options, explaining the multiplayer, Nova World, game statistics, internet connection. Let's see, is there anything else of value in here? Scoring, commander screen. Oh, okay. Weapons. Several different weapons are available for both teams. Each team can outfit themselves with weapons that are exclusive to that team, while some weapons are common to both teams. Excuse me. Excuse me. Loadout. Before a mission begins, you can change your initial weapon configuration. Training missions allow only mission-specific weapons to be chosen from an armory. Multiplayer games let you choose weapons based on the character class you pick. To choose a pick a skin, yada yada. Armories, we're familiar with that concept from Black Hawk Down, Team Saber, Delta Force Extreme 2 and 3, or 1 and 2, my bad. Common weapons. Members of both the Joint Operations Team and the Rebels Team fight with equipment used by military experts throughout the world. And weapons. Colt 1911. High-powered, clip-loading sidearm famous for reliability and stopping power. Ammo type 45 automatic, rounds per clip 7. Muzzle velocity 253 meters per second, rounds carried 21. Assault rifles and submachine guns. And then of course the first entry is a shotgun. Mossberg shotgun, a popular backup weapon to use when things get tight. Ammo type double-aught buck, rounds per load 7. Muzzle velocity 800 meters per second, rounds carried 21. MP5 silenced. This silenced rifle can be heard only by those near it. Ammo type 9x19, rounds per clip 30, rounds carried 300. Muzzle velocity 285 meters per second. Rate of fire 12.4 rounds per second. MP5-10, an improved version of the MP5 that fires a larger round while remaining lightweight. Ammo type 10mm, rounds per clip 30, rounds carried 300. Muzzle velocity 442 meters per second, rate of fire 12.4 rounds per second. Sniper rifles, L111 115A, deadly accurate bolt-action sniper rifle. Ammo type 7.62 by 51mm, rounds per clip 10, muzzle velocity 800 meters per second, rounds carried 40. Specialty weapons, M224 60mm mortar. Light and portable mortar, allowing engineers to fire a highly explosive round at a target. Accuracy is improved by firing a mortar at a target designated by another player. Ammo type 60mm shell, muzzle velocity 800 meters per second, rounds carried 4. Target designator. Visual line of sight through a target designator enables a distant engineer to fire a mortar from a safe distance. FIM-92A Stinger. Point one at an enemy helicopter, wait for the lock-on signal, and fire. The Stinger will track the helicopter through the air, but a good pilot may be able to avoid it. Ammo type Stinger rocket. Muzzle velocity 800 meters per second, rounds carried 3. Explosives. Satchel charge. Place the explosive package on a target, move to a safe position, and press the detonator. Claymore. Claymore anti-personnel mines explode violently when someone runs near one. Flashbang grenade. Disorients and distracts enemies in a non-lethal manner. Fragmentation grenade. Exploding shrapnel causes casualties out to 15 meters. M18 smoke grenade. Thick gray smoke blocks an enemy's line of sight or marks a location for others. Fixed weapons. M2 50 caliber machine gun. This reliable single-barrel machine gun can be found mounted on vehicles or placed around bases for defense. Ammo type 50 caliber, muzzle velocity 887 meters per second, rate of fire 7.75 rounds per second. Mark 19 40mm grenade launcher. The impressive Mark 19 has been successfully deployed around the world in both desert and jungle climates. Ammo type 40mm, muzzle velocity 790 meters per second, rate of fire 5.8 rounds per second. M134 7.62mm machine gun. The minigun is often mounted on helicopters where the 6 rotating barrels rain bullets down on your enemies. Ammo type 7.62 by 51mm, muzzle velocity 869 meters per second, rate of fire 8.85 rounds per second. Other equipment, night vision goggles. Night vision goggles allow you to see when it's dark out. Binoculars, watch for approaching enemies or monitor a base before attacking. Radio detonator, switch to the detonator to explode your placed satchel charges. Medpacks, medics can carry medpacks and then press the fire button to heal injured or fallen teammates. Joint Operations weapons. Choose your favorites from over 22 weapons and support devices. The Joint Operations team fires the best weapons in the world. Hand weapons, M9 bayonet. Classic knife for silent kills up close and underwater. Assault rifles and submachine guns, M4. This lightweight rifle works best for quick and close fighting. M4s can be equipped with the optional M203 grenade launcher. Ammo type 5.56 by 45mm, round per clip 30, rounds carried 300. Muzzle velocity 921 meters per second, rate of fire 12.4 rounds per second. M16, a heavier assault rifle than others, but more accurate. Ammo type 5.56 by 45mm, round per clip 30, rounds carried 300. Muzzle velocity 990 meters per second, rate of fire 8.85 rounds per second. Machine guns. M60. This heavy gas-powered machine gun fires a dangerous round, but the tripod should be used for accuracy. Ammo type 7.62 by 51 millimeter. Muzzle velocity 853 meters per second. Rounds per belt 100. Rate of fire 10.3 rounds per second. Rounds carried 300. M249 Saw. The squad automatic weapon machine gun delivers a large volume of effective fire, perfect for close quarters battles. Ammo type 5.56 by 45 millimeters. Muzzle velocity 990 meters per second. Rounds per belt 200. Rate of fire 12.4 rounds per second. Rounds carried 600. M240. The fully automatic M240 is one of the most reliable machine guns in the world. Ammo type 7.62 by 51 millimeters. Muzzle velocity 853 meters per second. Rounds per belt 100. Rate of fire 12.4 rounds per second. Rounds carried 600. Sniper rifles. M82 Barrett. The 50 caliber. Really? They said 22, 3, 6. That's 10, unless they're including the common ones too. I guess. Alright, sniper rifles, M82 Barrett. The 50 caliber ammo shot from the semi-automatic rifle can deliver a message from long range. Ammo type 50 caliber, muzzle velocity 853 meters per second. Rounds per clip 10, rounds carried 40. M24. This bolt-action sniper rifle offers increased range and accuracy. Ammo type 7.62 by 51 millimeters, muzzle velocity 792 meters per second. Rounds per clip 5, rounds carried 50. SR-25, possibly the most accurate semi-automatic sniper rifle. Ammo type 7.62 by 51 millimeter, rounds per clip 20, muzzle velocity 800 meters per second, rounds carried 60. Specialty weapons, AT-4, portable rocket launcher designed to destroy armored vehicles. Ammo type, 84mm shell, rounds carried, 1. Muzzle velocity, 290 meters per second. Rebel weapons. Indonesian rebels can outfit themselves with the best of over 20 weapons and support devices selected from worldwide arms manufacturers. And weapons. Machete, a long blade common to the jungles and perfect for stealthy kills. Smith & Wesson 357. This revolver is a heavy hitter like the Colt 1911. Ammo type 357 Magnum, rounds per load 6. Muzzle velocity 440 meters per second, rounds carried 36. Assault rifles and submachine guns. AK-47. The well-known Russian assault rifle is popular in third world countries. AK-47s can be equipped with grenade launchers. Ammo type 7.62 by 39mm, rounds per clip 30, rounds carried 300. Muzzle velocity 710 meters per second, rate of fire 10.3 rounds per second. AK-74. The AK-74 fires a smaller round than the AK-47, but it fires more accurately and recoils less. A grenade launcher can be attached. Ammo type 5.45 by 39mm, rounds per clip 30, rounds carried 300. Muzzle velocity 900 meters per second, rate of fire 10.3 rounds per second. Machine guns. PKM. This belt-fed portable machine gun fires more accurately when aimed with the bipod. Ammo type 7.62 by 54R, rounds per belt 100, rounds carried 400. Muzzle velocity 825 meters per second, rate of fire 12.4 rounds per second. RPK-74. The RPK is a modified AK with a sturdy receiver, heavier and longer non-detachable barrel, and recontoured wooden buttstock. Ammo type 5.45 by 39mm, rounds per clip 45, rounds carried 600. Muzzle velocity 732 meters per second, rate of fire 12.4 rounds per second. Sniper rifles. Dragunov. Powerful semi-automatic sniper rifle with a faster rate of fire than bolt-action choices. Ammo type 7.62 by 54R, rounds per clip 10, muzzle velocity 830 meters per second, rounds carried 50. M21. The semi-automatic rifle allows for some fast sniping while sacrificing accuracy. Ammo type 7.62 by 51mm, rounds per clip 20, muzzle velocity 777 meters per second, rounds carried 60. Specialty weapons, RPG-7. This shoulder-fired rocket-propelled grenade launcher is muzzle-loaded and can be fired at nearly anything. Ammo type 40mm rocket grenade, rounds carried 1, muzzle velocity 120 meters per second. Drivable vehicles. Okay. Controls, helicopters, common vehicles. 5.5-ton truck, heavy truck for transporting large numbers of soldiers, no combat capability. Amphibious ATV, all-terrain vehicle providing transportation over both land and water. Zodiac, light watercraft for infiltration that may be outfitted with an M60 machine gun. Additionally, other Indonesian watercraft can be found throughout the region. These are some of the native designs here. Joint Operations Vehicles. The Joint Operations Team travels with the best vehicles in the world. Armored Attack Vehicle. This updated armored ground vehicle is effective in the most difficult terrain and can be mounted with a variety of guns. Striker. Highly deployable armored vehicle for troop transportation across land or water. The cannon can clear the way for the soldiers traveling safely inside. LCAC. The landing craft air cushion boat is an impressive high-speed craft capable of transporting land vehicles. The Mark V. This dangerous vessel slices through the water transporting troops and delivering damage from the in-place 50 caliber guns and Mark 19 grenade launchers. Little Bird. This highly maneuverable helicopter is designed for light attack and close air support. It can be configured with benches for troop transportation, with machine guns, or rockets. MH-60 Blackhawk. This multi-purpose helicopter supports infiltration, exfiltration, resupply of special operations forces, and combat search and rescue. Chinook, heavy lift helicopter useful for moving troops and smaller land vehicles. Rebel vehicles. The Indonesian rebels have adapted many European vehicles to the local terrain. Armored Jeep. Standard military vehicle outfitted with armor and often deployed with a mounted weapon. BTR. Armored personnel carrier capable of traveling through the water. A cannon provides impressive ground support. Armored patrol boat. Rapid transit gunship offers 50 caliber guns and grenade launchers for impressive waterborne assaults. Large amphibious assault boat. This high-speed transportation vessel delivers land vehicles and troops to the enemy's shore. MV-0-105, multi-purpose helicopter excellent for troop movements or available with rockets or dual machine guns. Super Puma, impressive helicopter for airborne assault and payload lifting. Halo, this heavy transport helicopter is the largest and most powerful bird in the world. The Halo is the first helicopter with an 8-blade main rotor. And then keyboard stuff, which means we're probably at the end of what is available as far as content. Yep, there are the credits. So next week, if all goes well, I should be starting with the... there is sort of a single-player campaign in this, and that's what I'll be playing. First, I'll probably just go through all the training missions just to familiarize myself with the game. And get back into the swing of things. But then there's a series of operations, and I'll just play them in order. And that'll be kind of the campaign for this game. So look forward to that. And with that, thank you all for watching, and stay tuned for next time. Excuse me, and stay safe out there, and we'll see you then.